Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are from. I am TJ from New Zealand Mysteries, and me and my many double chins welcome you to the show. It's so good to see you. So it's been a busy couple of days on the internet with Cleo Smith being found. Absolutely amazing news. So we're going to look at that today. I just have to say that I have been able to catch a couple of shifts at work over the last 2 days, and that's why I haven't been around doing lives. Also, my chronic fatigue is catching up with me, and I'm probably going to go back to bed again after this, but I'll see how long I can stay awake for. We've got heaps that I want to look at. So we want to look at Cleo Smith and some videos, read some articles about that. I wanted to catch up with Micael Vaughn, little monkey, the 5-year-old missing over there that we're going to have to look and see an update about. There's some new information from the Northport Police around the Brian Laundrie case that I wanted to look at as well. And there's a couple of people missing in New Zealand right now that I want to go over their details as well. So welcome to everybody. Please give it a like if you haven't already. It's really important. It means that more people can find the show and come and join us, which is what it's all about, really. So let's get into it. Don't be shy. Say hi. Curious Kiwi, good morning, hun. Glad you could make it. It's going to be an interesting one today. Some good news. I'm very, very happy about this Cleo thing, and we've got a couple of videos to play. I just want to let 5 or so minutes just to see if a few more people come in before we play the video. So curious, have you bought your fireworks yet? Do you celebrate fireworks or Guy Fawkes? I know that most of the big displays are cancelled because of COVID, which sucks. But that's just the way it goes. We have to sacrifice some things, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen with you, and we're going to look at a couple of things about Cleo Smith and the amazing fact that she was found alive. So I'm going to play this video. It's about 6 minutes long, but it's a great watch.
Hoping for. After more than 2 weeks, 4-year-old Cleo Smith is found. The little girl was discovered inside a suburban house just 3 kilometres from her family's home.
I just wanted to be absolutely sure that, it certainly looked like Cleo. I wanted to be absolutely sure it was her, so I said, "What's your name?" And she didn't answer, and I said, "What's your name?" She didn't answer again. So I asked the 3rd time, and then she looked at me and she said, "My name's Cleo."
Detective Senior Sergeant Cameron Blaine was one of 4 officers to rescue Cleo Smith.
Is this the best moment in your career? Oh, without a doubt.
Hidden from unsuspecting neighbours and the 63 extra detectives, forensic and police officers that have been scouring the area trying to find her.
They had to break in. It was a locked house. I've actually seen the vision. I can't release it, but it's a wonderful moment where they found young Cleo in one of the rooms. Asked her her name, "What's your name?" And she said, "My name's Cleo." I've got to say, it brought a tear to the eye.
It's been 18 days since the 4-year-old disappeared from her family's tent in the middle of the night at the Blowholes campsite 70 kilometres north of Carnarvon. A crime so shocking that almost everyone now knows the name Cleo Smith. After heartbreaking pleas through social media for her child to come home, Cleo's mother, Ellie Smith, publicly reacting with just 5 words: "Our family is whole again." Police have not revealed what key pieces of information led them to the house where Cleo was discovered, saying only it was dogged police work that found her in the end, sifting through thousands of forensic exhibits and pieces of information. The head of the 100-strong officer task force, Rod Wild, flying into Carnarvon this afternoon and still in disbelief.
It's difficult to explain in words, so we're just
I'm just so happy. Today is a really special day, and I'm just so proud. You know, I've got to be the proudest police commissioner in the world because I'm so proud of this team.
The news so remarkable, it was enough to wake a premier.
I woke up at about 3 and I saw the message, so it was a great piece of news.
A 36-year-old man has been taken into custody for questioning by police. Neighbours watched as forensic officers combed through the house, saying they're in shock.
Know anything about or know that. It's frightening to know about that person, yeah.
He's described as a quiet man who kept to himself.
He's got family in Carnarvon, but I mean, he doesn't really interact with them. He just sticks to himself.
Letitia Andrioli broke the news to her son this morning. He's one of Cleo's classmates.
I was like, so you can give her a big hug when you see her? And he's like, yeah. So, yeah, she's going to get lots of hugs and lots of love from her school friends and her family and the whole community. It's just, yeah, it's an amazing feeling.
Across the wider community, the feelings of grief and fear for a little girl many of them knew have now turned to elation. Evelyn Manfield, ABC News, Carnarvon.
The news that Cleo Smith was found alive prompted a national collective sigh of relief and joy. One leading criminologist says it's remarkable given that the little girl was missing for so long.
Purple and pink balloons dominated the centre of Carnarvon within hours of the little girl being found.
Elation would be the best way to describe it. The community is absolutely elated. Just so thankful that we got what we all hoped and prayed for.
An impromptu display of joy so popular, the local newsagents sold out of pink balloons by mid-morning, as Carnarvon breathed a sigh of relief, 18 days in the making.
It feels like this cloud has been lifted. Obviously, being in town over the last 2.5 weeks has been pretty dismal.
Your heart like skips a beat, just so relieved for everyone to be home, just so big back in her parents' arms.
But the relief is being felt much further afield after appeals across the nation brought an outpouring of concern.
This is every parent's worst nightmare, and the fact that that nightmare has come to an end and our worst fears were not realised is just a huge relief.
This is great news and uplifting for the entire country.
Authorities in WA admit their fears were grave until the remarkable news came through overnight.
You never know what to expect. You hope for the best, but, you prepare for the worst.
Experts say it's exceptionally rare for a missing child to be found alive so long after they disappeared, making this situation all the more remarkable.
This is incredibly unusual. I can't think of another example anywhere that I've ever seen this.
How difficult it will be for a 4-year-old to survive in a situation that is completely new. We're very lucky that we had this good outcome.
In a community which has rallied together over 2.5 weeks, the relief is set to linger for a while yet.
Everybody's so happy and it's so excited, and I'm so glad that she's happy and that she's been found. And our community is happy as well. So thank you for that.
An expression of gratitude being offered by an entire town. Jacob Kagi, ABC News.
Wow. Just absolutely amazing. I actually don't think anyone can believe that she was found alive. I mean, this doesn't happen. Unfortunately, when kids are missing like this, finding them alive is a miracle. It doesn't happen very often. So Lotus Flower, welcome, hun, and Autumn Falls, welcome. It's good to see you guys. Hello to everyone else coming in. So I'm going to read a couple of articles regarding Cleo, and I will show them on screen in a second. I cried. I was at work when I seen it yesterday, and yeah, look at that face, would you? I actually think this is the same video. So we're at abc.net.au. Cleo Smith hospital photo released by police after 4-year-old girl found alive. Police have posted a photo of a smiling Cleo Smith in hospital as the officer who found the little girl in a house in the coastal Western Australian town of Carnarvon recounted the incredible story of her rescue. The photo released by WA police just before the officers in charge of the investigation fronted the media shows the little girl waving and holding an icy pole. I think an icy pole was like an ice block, as she smiled at the camera. The preschooler was found in a bedroom, alive, well, and smiling, when police forced down a door of a home overnight in the town of Carnarvon, about 900 kilometres north of Perth. And I don't know how many miles that is. You might have to look that up. The house where Cleo was found, which is owned by the State Housing Commission, was just minutes from where she lived with her family. Yeah, Autumn Falls. I think the icy pole means like an ice block or a popsicle, as you call them. Officer who found Cleo is elated. The police officer who found Cleo in the house, Detective Senior Sergeant Cameron Blaine, said it was without a doubt the best moment of his career. It was absolutely fantastic to see her sitting there in the way that she was. It was just incredible, he said. I asked her what her name was. One of the guys in front of me jumped in and picked her up. It certainly looked like Cleo. I wanted to be absolutely sure it was her. Detective Senior Sergeant Blaine said she initially did not respond. So I asked her a third time, and then she looked at me and said, "My name's Cleo." And there's going to be either a book or a movie, I reckon, that ends up coming out, and it's going to be My Name is Cleo. Just putting that out there. And that was it. He said we turned around and walked her out of the house, I should say. Not long after we got into the car, and the officer I was with called Cleo's parents and said, "We've got someone here that wants to speak to you." Could you imagine those parents? He said it was a wonderful feeling to make that call. Detective Blaine said Cleo appeared physically healthy. He said she's physically okay, and that was evident from the start. Taking her to the hospital, I guess, was assurance of that from the people that know what they're doing. He said she's a little Energizer bunny. How she has that much energy, I wish I did. I'm about ready to go to sleep. He said she was just a very, very sweet, energetic, very trusting, and very open with us. He said Cleo cried mummy when she was reunited with her family. I think I'm getting a bit welled up, actually. I don't want to cry. I'm not usually one that cries in public, especially on YouTube. So I'm going to try and hold that in. Big hugs, kisses, and lots of tears, as you could expect. He said she's been released from hospital, and the rescue was recorded in the officer's body-worn cameras. So we've got a local man in custody. Cleo was reported missing on October 16 during a family camping trip to the Blowholes, a remote fishing spot north of Carnarvon, the town they live in, and the town where she was found. When her parents awoke at around 6 a.m., we know they gave the baby sister a bottle. They found Cleo missing from the family's tent, and the tent's zip undone to a height that she could not have reached. Police Commissioner Chris Dawson said a 36-year-old Carnarvon man has been taken into custody and was being questioned by police over Cleo's disappearance. Detective Superintendent Rod Wild said the man became a suspect only yesterday, and it was not believed anyone else was involved. So it sounds like things happened really quickly. As soon as he became a suspect, they were right on him. He said it happened fairly rapidly, as these things go. Police emphasised there was no specific piece of information that led to Cleo's discovery. So someone mentioned the reward fund, and I think this explains why no one is going to collect that. He said it was a lot of hard work. There wasn't any one particular thing, just a process we go through during the investigation, dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Late this morning, the man in police custody was transferred to Carnarvon Hospital by ambulance. Screens were erected at the hospital's entrance to stop media from viewing what was happening. It's not clear if he was injured. Wow. Hey, welcome, Tina. So it's interesting that he's going to hospital. I imagine that maybe he got dealt to maybe in prison. Who knows? I don't know, but we're going to read a little bit about that shortly. Hey, Pam, good to see you, hun. Good to see you, Tina. Please hit that like button. Just amazing news. You know what? In true crime, we cover some really dark stuff, and especially with children, it's really, really hard. So to get an outcome like this is just absolutely amazing. It's so amazing. So as I usually do, I'm going to try and put all the all the articles that we read in that, I'm going to put the links in the description box below so you can go back to those yourself if you need to. Okay, how WA police joined the dots. Let's look at that. And this is from abc.net.au. Methodical analysis of thousands of pieces of information and data helped police discover the needle in the haystack that led them to Cleo Smith. After almost 3 weeks of searching, police yesterday found the 4-year-old in a house and took into custody a 36-year-old man they are expected to lay charges against. So at this stage, I haven't read anything saying that he's been charged yet, but I'm sure that's coming. It wasn't a tip-off. It wasn't an accidental sighting or pure chance. It was the hard work of the team that did it, said Detective Superintendent Rod Wild. There must be like an easy way to say Detective Superintendent Rod Wild, because it's just long, man. It's long when you're tired. Hey, Kaleidoscope, welcome. He said it was the hard work of the team that did it, who led the 140-strong team that never gave up hope of finding Cleo. Analysing all that information, gathering it all, working through it, and finding that needle in a haystack. Superintendent Wild said there was no one particular thing that was a development that led to a rapid breakthrough in the case when the dots lined up. Information or evidence that led police to a Housing Commission home in a working-class suburb in Carnarvon, just 3 kilometres from Cleo's family home. I think it's only like 5 or 6 minutes away from her home, which is pretty crazy. Lotus says, I heard they think she was stalked, targeted. Yeah, I'll see if any information comes up of that, because there's lots of information out there. Police forced their way into the home where Cleo was found in a bedroom on her own 18 days after she disappeared from her family's campsite at the Blowholes, which is 70 kilometres north of Gascoigne Town. Questions: did it involve CCTV footage? Start again. You can tell I'm tired because I'm mucking up my words. Did it involve CCTV footage of the car which had turned off Blowholes Road towards Carnarvon between 3 a.m. and 3:30 a.m. on the day Cleo went missing, and the ID of a registration number? ? We do know that they were looking for a car around that 3 a.m. to 3:30 a.m. Was there a crucial piece of evidence like mobile data? Was it a clue found in the ashes at the campfire, or was it something they found in the rubbish? Perhaps they came across the missing piece of the puzzle when officers searched inside and outside the family home in Carnarvon, because they did check their house 3 times, I think they did. Oh, here it says, they searched the home 3 times, removing bags of evidence in a trailer, all while reiterating that Cleo's parents were not suspects. Police certainly left no stone unturned in their efforts. They spent days and nights relentlessly grid searching the Blowholes area. Witnesses were interviewed. CCTV footage from homes and businesses in Carnarvon and as far as 1,000 kilometres away was reviewed, and there were more than 1,000 calls from the community. Kaleidoscope says, staying out of chat today, cooking dinner, but still watching as I work and hope all is well with everyone. Awesome. Hey, Will, good to see you. Superintendent Wild described a methodical investigation where evidence was gathered and put together to paint a picture of what happened. It's a matter of police piecing through, working out who was there, who was where at the wrong time, and that's what happened, he said. And that is what took police to the duplex where Cleo was found at 12:46 a.m. on Wednesday. In the pitch black, 4 officers broke down the door of the locked home and found a blonde-haired little girl in one of the bedrooms. I don't know if I'd describe her as having blonde hair. Just saying, you know. Lotus said, so even the news is speculating how law enforcement found him. Yeah, because they haven't really released a lot of information about how they found him. Officer says, oh, can we just look at that for a moment? That picture of her is gorgeous. Officer says reunion was the highlight of his career. He said to see her sitting there in the way she was, it was just incredible. And that was one of the 4 officers. Twice he asked her what her name was, and twice she didn't answer, possibly scared or shocked at seeing these people in the middle of the night. So I asked her 3rd time, and she looked at me and said, my name's Cleo. I have to take a break. I'm mucking up my words because I'm tired. Just slow down. They walked straight back out of the house, one of the officers carrying Cleo in his arms. Just amazing. Extraordinary body cam video from one of the officers shows what then happens in Cleo's first moments of freedom. Cleo, my name's Cameron. How are you? Are you okay? He asks. She nods with a half smile, nervously pulling at the hoodie of the policeman carrying her with both hands. We're going to take you to see your mummy and daddy, okay? Is that good? She nods again. The reunion between mum and daughter was without a doubt the best moment of Senior Sergeant Blaine's career. Mummy, Cleo cried as she was swept into her mother's arms. Big hugs, kisses, and lots of tears, said Sergeant Blaine recalls with a smile on his face. It was an honour to watch that reunion. Wow. I keep welling up actually because it's just so amazing. Oh, that looks more like a freezy than a popsicle. I have no idea. It looks like a popsicle or an ice block as we call them over here. Curious says yes at Pam Smith, another couple that was crucified for not acting like they should. I truly hope people learn from this. I really do too. I really do too, because it's so many people. I mean, I know that it usually says in child abduction or child deaths that it's usually the family that were involved. We all know that, but there is such thing as jumping to conclusions and stuff like that. I prefer to follow the evidence and follow the facts. And there was no facts in this case whatsoever that that the family had anything to do with Cleo going missing. They did this the right way, for sure, and with such an amazing outcome. Will says, interesting how the cops were allowed to just barge into the house without a warrant. Sounds like great police work on this occasion. Do we know that they didn't have a warrant? I didn't hear whether they did or not. I'm not sure. Pam says yes, and the police kept their mouths shut and got the job done. Yes. Curious says, I never doubted them either. Oh my God, I never had any doubt. So no one doubted them. That's good. I wanted to show you another couple of images that are quite interesting. This is nzherald.co.nz. Cleo Smith rescued. First image of suspected abductor shows him bandaged in an ambulance. So let's see if we can find out what's going here. because it's not loading. Oh, hang on a minute. We're getting some stuff coming here. Oh, just seen that. Okay. The first image of the man arrested over the alleged abduction of Cleo Smith shows him heavily bandaged in the back of an ambulance. So it's not the greatest pick. The 36-year-old man has been taken into custody and is being questioned by police. No charges have yet been laid. So I think they're trying to hold him, or hide him, I should say. Lead investigator said there's no more suspects. It appears as though it was opportunistic, he said. And the man was not known to Cleo's family. So it was an opportunist from a stranger abduction. Hey, Terry Brown, good to see you. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, I mean, how many times does this happen? Not very. So there's a lot of questions here. He lived in the same town as Cleo and her parents. There's only about 3,000 people in this town, Carnarvon, so it's not a big place. Is it possible that he did stalk them and he followed them to the campground? Or is it possible that he was just at the campground the same day? I don't know. Curious says, I'm not 100% on the law in Aussie, but I think here in New Zealand, if they suspect someone is in danger, they don't need a warrant. Anyone else know about those laws? Yeah, no, I'm not sure. But you might be right. T-Rex, Pam, everyone, the police involved did a good job. They did. And Pam says 16 minutes away from... Oh, is that 6 minutes or 16 minutes, Pam? I know it wasn't very far anyway. So in a small town like that, it's, even though they don't know the man, it's possible that he's seen them like down at the shops or, getting their groceries, whatever, and started stalking them. And I also wonder, perhaps did the parents put information on social media saying, oh, we're going to the blowholes this weekend for a camping trip, and was he able to see social media, and that was what he saw and how he started the connection? Pam Smith, that's why police said nothing coming out of checking house they didn't want. Having trouble today, Pam. Lotus said, I heard they searched her house, found something related to suspect, like he'd been in their house. Don't know where I heard it from. Wow, Lotus, I haven't heard that. Pam says, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, they didn't want him to know they were onto him, which is very possible. I'm sure more will come out as it goes to trial. Yes, lots more will come out in time. We just have to give it time. But just unbelievable, right? All right. We might take a break from that case. And there's another case that's quite interesting and something I wanted to share with you. Hey, Kaleidoscope. I work in a community twice the size, and it's impossible not to interact with everyone living there on occasion. Yeah, that's what I mean. Surely, a dairy, which is a corner store, I don't know what you call them, but a dairy, or getting your groceries, or just like taking the kids to playgroup, if that's something that she goes to. Yeah. Pam says, I'm still emotional mess. Oh, God bless Pam. Lotus, wonder how he got all the injuries. I wonder, and did he get them in custody, his injuries? Because they didn't take him straight to prison or has he been in the police station all this time and now they're taking him into hospital? I don't know. But let's take a look at this. Maura Murray. Now, that's a case that everybody has heard of, and we know what happened. Hey, Fast Hemi, welcome. We know what happened. She was on a drive. She crashed her car, and she went missing from there, and no one has ever seen or heard from her again. And it was a big case everywhere. It was a big case everywhere, all over social media and YouTube and news media around the world. But let's have a look at this information. This is from westernmassnews.com. If it plays, if it doesn't play, I'll just read it. Play. Okay. Since Maura Murray went missing in February of 2004, now it's
Getting Answers True Crime. Now to a follow-up on a story Western Mass News continues to follow closely. The mysterious disappearance of UMass Amherst student Maura Murray in New Hampshire.
And now a possible break 17 years later. Human remains have been found near her last known location, and they could be the key to solving the case that's captured the world's attention.
Since Maura Murray went missing in February of 2004, she's never been found. The Hanson Mass native and UMass Amherst student left school without telling anyone where she was heading. Hours later, she crashed her car on Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire. It was the last time she was ever seen. Now, nearly 2 decades later, a potential new lead in her case developing in September.
I was notified that there was some bone fragments found on Loon Mountain.
Maura's sister, Julie, was alerted by authorities that less than 25 miles from where Maura left her car and disappeared, human remains were found on Loon Mountain.
They came across what they thought was a skull.
Authorities confirming that the findings were in fact skull fragments. Now diagnostic testing to identify the remains is pending.
This type of testing is going to take some time.
Western Mass News is getting answers on what the forensic testing entails with UMass Amherst bioarchaeology graduate instructor Priscilla Millard. While she isn't involved in the forensic testing being done in New Hampshire, the Fulbright Award winner has performed extensive research in Romania. She explains to us that the first step in identification is creating a biological profile.
Estimating sex and age of death.
It sounds easier than it is.
One of the least complex ways, perhaps, of doing that is to look at morphology.
Analyzing the shape and size of the remains themselves.
You would be looking at diagnostic features of the pelvis and the cranium.
While it's unclear if pelvis fragments were found at Loon Mountain, Millard says the skull fragments could provide reliable identification.
A male cranium will tend to be more rugged and have larger muscle attachments. The female cranium, on average, will tend to be smaller in those same areas.
It's especially useful in calculating age.
Even if the remains are old and there's been a process of decay, you're likely still going to have intact dentition.
Even just 1 or 2 teeth can be analyzed with DNA.
The dental tissue actually protects the pulp of the tooth itself, which is where you can extract DNA.
That pulp would also identify an X or Y chromosome. For now, Maura's family anxiously awaits the news that the remains could be hers.
This waiting period right now is very difficult.
A period Millard says could take several months for good reason.
You also don't want to rush.
But Julie says no matter the outcome, they'll continue their fight to bring Maura home.
You never want to get too hopeful, but you never want to, lose hope.
And Julie says an entire team is involved in the testing, from medical examiners to New Hampshire State Police to even the State Forestry Department. We reached out to New Hampshire State Police, who tell us at this time there is no update on where the testing stands.
Wow, big news, big news. This was Kaleidoscope said he must have been under a rock. He didn't know this case. It was 2004, and at the time it actually was a big case. Will says jail is a holding facility where people are held on suspicion of committing a crime. Prison is where you go if you've been found guilty beyond all doubt. Right. It's just that I didn't know whether the suspect was just being held in police custody, and that's where he got head injuries and taken in hospital from there, or was he in jail and he got them from there? It's not clear. Okay. So since Maura Murray went missing in February of 2004, she has never been found. The Hanson, Massachusetts native and UMass Amherst student left school without telling anyone where she was heading. Hours later, she crashed her car on Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire, and it was the last time she was ever seen. Now, nearly 2 decades later, a potential new lead in her case has developed. And the sister, I was notified that there were bone fragments found on Loon Mountain. She was alerted by authorities that human remains were found on Loon Mountain, less than 25 miles from where Maura left her car and disappeared. They came across what they thought was a skull. Authorities are confirming that the findings were in fact skull fragments. Now they need to do diagnostic testing, and this type of testing will take some time. Wow, I really hope that, well, it's hard, isn't it? Because I really hope that it's Maura, because then the family will have some sort of closure in that department, and they're going to have bones that they can bury and have a funeral or a memorial, put her to rest. But then maybe the family don't want it to be her, because then it's a guarantee that she's actually not alive. So it's a bit of a both situation, really. Either way, I feel damn sorry for the parents. It's awful. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. I just wanted to let you guys know that I am doing like the membership where you pay monthly to help the channel, and then you have your name in green, and it's quite low. I think the first one's like $4 a month. The link is at the top of the screen pinned, and if you can help out, that's absolutely fantastic, but you don't have to, because you don't have to. I can't offer any perks at the moment apart from some little cool photos that we can use, but if you have any idea of photos that I could, or pictures that we could use, let me know in the description box below. I just am spread so thin that I can't do perks as well, if that makes sense. Who, TJ? Hear me. Who what? Who what? I don't know what you're talking about. And I don't know what FHM is. Maybe I'm not that great and caught up on things. All right. So the other thing I wanted to do, which I'm going to do, is have a look at my Facebook page, my New Zealand Mysteries page. If you're not on there as a liker or a follower or whatever that is, it's amazing. So what happens is I make videos, I post them onto the Facebook page, and the wonderful team that are on there share those out so as many people can see them as possible. So I'm really lucky. Pam says, trying so many lives lost and lives ruined. Yeah, I know. Unaccountable. All right, so this is my page, and you actually get to see it from my side rather than what you guys normally see. What I wanted to point out is I've got 9,574 people like this. To think that it got this high is absolutely amazing. And as you can see, I post videos that I do, and I also post missing people as well. So at the moment, the Waikato police are searching for this guy, Olsen, aged 52 years. and this is in Raglan. A search and rescue operation is ongoing for 2 men missing near Raglan. Olsen Kanatoi, aged 52, and 44-year-old Eric DeBollis failed to return from a fishing trip to the Ruapiki area on Sunday. The search has utilised a drone and the Police Eagle helicopter and has been focused on Papanui Point, a remote location popular with some fishers. The drone search is expected to continue today. Police are also aware of people in the local area and associates of the men who are conducting their own searches. While we understand the desire to help, we would urge people to please leave this to the official searchers. However, if anyone knows any information, they can call 105 and talk to the police. Well, a kiwi to start. Of course, Lotus. Why didn't I think of a kiwi? It's like the most obvious thing. Of course I should put a kiwi. And there's another couple of, or 1 or 2, I think, missing people that I just wanted to cover. So this here is, have you seen Wayne? Police are seeking assistance from the public in locating 50-year-old Wayne Hammond. He was last seen this morning in Clyde, Central Otago. Police and his family have concerns for his well-being. Very, very sad. Update, police would like to speak with anyone who may have been on the Clyde to Alexandra track yesterday between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. who may have seen anything of interest. Police would also like to speak to anyone who may have been on the river around that time. Very sad, but yes, as you can see. And I think I've said before, I've done a video of child abuse and child homicide in New Zealand. Our track record is really, really bad. We have one of the worst rates of child homicide and child abuse in the developed world. And just the other day, another child was found. So just makes my blood boil. So please take a look at the page if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. There's some great stuff up there. Pam, I hope things start going well for you. We're sending you lots of love, darling. Pam, trying its emotional roller coaster and info coming in what seems like a pace of turtle moving backwards. Oh, sending you so much love, honey. All right. Now, one of the cases that we haven't looked at for a while is 5-year-old Micael Vaughn, who went missing. And I think his nickname was Michael. So here we go. This is eastidahonews.com. New information in search for missing Idaho boy could prove to be very helpful. And look at that smile. Fruitland police say new information could prove to be very helpful in the search for a missing 5-year-old. Micael Monkey Vaughn vanished July 27 from his home in a quiet Fruitland neighborhood. In the weeks following, the Fruitland Police Department, the Idaho State Police, and the FBI have continued to search for and follow up on tips. Part of the investigation has involved searching through neighborhood surveillance videos. Detectives want to help to identify multiple people and vehicles seen on camera. It's very important to understand that these people are not suspects or persons of interest, but it is important to talk to each of them to help us complete the picture of the events that took place that evening, police said in a news release Thursday. A 2016 to 2020 Honda Pilot was seen on Southwest 8th Street around 6:45 p.m. the day Micael disappeared. A 2010 or 2011 Dodge Avenger was also seen on the Southwest 8th Street before turning onto South Whitley Drive. Some of these are a mouthful. So this is why it's important to like like the video, give it a thumbs up, share it where you can. It gets more people looking at this information, which is what we need. Additionally, police would like to speak to a man who was jogging on the sidewalk on Southwest 8th Street near Crestview Park around 6:15. He had dark hair, facial hair, dark shorts and no shirt. A second man with dark hair wearing a white t-shirt and black shorts was also seen walking on Southwest 8th Street. We are encouraged by the fact that one of these individuals described above could help us bring Micael home safely, police said. We are also encouraged by the fact that there are still people out there that did see something but didn't feel it was important to report the information at the time. To help in the search for Micael, the reward money has increased to $40,000. Police say the reward is available to anyone having information leading to the safe return of Micael. The reward is available until November 15th. So it's not really that far away. I hope that they extend it, because I'm pretty sure they can extend it. One of you guys might know. Micael was last seen wearing a light blue Minecraft t-shirt, dark blue boxer briefs and sandals. He is 43 inches tall, 50 pounds, and has blonde hair and blue eyes. Officials have said Micael's family remains fully cooperative and have complied with all requests of investigators. If you have information about suspicious activity on or around July 27 on Southwest 8th Street, Southwest 9th Street, Washington Avenue and Cornwall Way between 6 and 7 p.m, contact Fruitland Police on 208-642-6006. We are committed to scrutinising every detail in this investigation, and it is taking time, police said. This remains a very active investigation at all levels and will continue. Oh, so sad. So sad. You know what? Finding Cleo gives me some hope. There are, on occasions, that kids who are abducted do get found, but it doesn't happen often. That's the thing. So I'm hoping for the best. I hope that that he gets found, but he's been missing for a little while now, July 27th. So it is a little while. Very, very, very sad. If you are keeping up with the Don Wells case, because I don't think it's about Summer anymore, Summer Wells, I think it's about her dad more than anything. He did in the weekend just gone get a DUI charge. I don't know a lot about it. I have heard audio of him talking to another creator when he got pulled over and done for DUI, but we don't mention other channels in this room, so I'm not going to fully go into it or how it was, but it's just crazy. That whole case is crazy. I still don't cover it because there's so much shit going on in that case that it seems like Summer's forgotten. There's so much drama surrounding the case. There's bullying going on and doxing going on. I don't want to get involved, but it's sad that I feel like I can't cover the Summer Wells case because I don't want to get the shitstorm coming to me. And I think that is an absolute tragedy. It should not happen in the true crime community. The thing is, all of us should be doing the right thing. You know what I mean? We should be just trying to find Summer, but it just turns into a bloody circus. Don Wells doesn't help himself for coming on YouTube and the circus. Curious Kiwi, thanks for becoming a member. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Don Wells doesn't help himself, and he goes on all these different channels, and even that's not helping him. And then there's drama around the reward fund. Some creators did a marathon fundraiser, and they raised a lot of money. and they went into it with the best intentions, and I hope that money gets to the places it should. But it's just sad that this is what happens. And people already have a bad view of YouTube. They have a bad view of people that sit in their armchair and try and solve crimes. They already have this bad view of true crime genre or the true crime community on YouTube, and then this, and I think it makes us a laughing stock, and it's hard. It sucks because there's just so many people that don't do the drama and just do the facts and the evidence, and it's just shit. It's just shit. I don't know what else to say, but I don't do drama. Lotus, DUI Saturday night and Monday morning. Oh, so did he get 2, Lotus? Autumn says it is sad that Summer is overshadowed by her parents and the drama. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. It's not right. Lotus, I'm glad to know you're staying away from the drama. Yes. You know, I do the other channels where I do go in and I listen to some stuff and see what's being said, but I try to stay out of it. Curious says the Wells Family YouTube channel. Yes, is that? I think it's called the Wells Family Official channel. There's not that much up there, but there is a channel. Lotus says I saw a lot of that and was there that unique evening when drama started. It's awful and ugly. It sure is. Curious, I deleted my own comment. Well done. You sound like you're, I'm a clumsy person and I do the most stupidest of shit constantly. I trip over shit. I forget shit. I have mouth mush moments where I can't talk. Dude, join the club. We're all real around here. Crazy. So, you know, isn't it hard? Like, I wonder, Summer Wells got all this attention. Her case did. Cleo Smith, her case got attention, which is great. Why didn't Micael Vaughn, Monkey, get the same attention? I'm not quite sure why some cases blow up and some others don't. It's weird. Curious says, I'm drowsy as today. Hay fever. Oh, bugger that. You talk normal? I try and talk normal. I try and hide my mouth mush moments. Clumsy thumbs. Yeah, I've got clumsy thumbs too. I know what you mean. Fast, hear me. It's good to see you here too. It is sad that so many channels fight each other instead of working together for the greater good. That's what I mean. Why are creators pitting against each other and having wars? I mean, surely if you're in this community, you want the same thing. You want justice. You want to find people. You want people to get justice. And you'd think that the more people sharing it and doing it together would be the best, but it just turns on to creator going after each other, and then the subs of those creators. If the subs don't like someone else, then those if the creators are having a fight with another creator, then those subs don't like the other creator. You should be able to go to whatever channel you like, and not worry about getting bullied or doxed or betraying some other creator. Oh, see why I hate drama? It's just not right. Autumn says Michael's didn't have the drama attached to it, so the media probably didn't latch onto it. Yeah, you're right. Curious, the trolls were squashed pretty quickly on this case, but it did get a bit of coverage, so many get no airtime. That's absolutely right. It's been cutthroat. I'm concerned it will actually end in someone being bullied to death. Yes. And I'll tell you a little story. Hang on. I'm going to have a puff. Most of you will know the case of Elisa Lam at the Cecil Hotel. She was found in the water tanks in the at the top of the hotel. This is in California or LA, years and years ago. And actually, John Lawden covered it a lot. And that's how I got into true crime, was actually listening to John Lawden. So if you haven't caught up with him on this case, you gotta. But apparently, after she went missing, social media accused some guy that she knew, or some guy that was around, of killing her. And apparently it got to him so much, it wasn't true, but it got to him so much that he did actually end his life. So I know now when John Lawden has videos, he actually has a disclaimer saying that people are not to go after people that he's talked in his videos. And he's actually very upset about it, what happened. And that shouldn't happen. And that's what I worry about. There's a couple of live streams I did about Summer, and I got so bullied, and I just had to stop. I don't want to be bullied. It's just terrible. Curious says, yes, it gets pretty scary sometimes. It sure does. Autumn says, does anyone else remember Amanda? Oh, what's her last name? The poor teen who posted a video then. No. That's awful. Awful. Seems like blonde females get disproportionate attention. Maybe. Hey, Tina, angel face. Are you talking about Micael? He has an angel face. Pam, about 10 years ago. I'd have to look it up. Are you talking about the Elisa Lam? Amanda Todd. Oh, I've never heard of that. I might just write that name down and have a look, because I've never heard of that. How damn well sad. It's terrible. And when I was covering Cleo's case while she was missing, there was articles, quite frankly, saying that those parents had vile comments sent to them. Some people were sending the most outrageous, hateful, and hurtful comments to the parents of Cleo Smith. Yeah. And I said in a couple of my lives when we were talking about it that I won't tolerate anyone or condone any blame on the family, because there's no evidence or facts that lead to that at this stage. And I'm all about facts and evidence. I don't mind speculation as long as it's based on those facts and evidence. You know what I mean? I don't like it when people just say, oh, he was and aliens picked him up, or he was actually working for the CIA, and just bullshit. People come up with so much bullshit. That's what I'm trying to say. I ramble when I'm tired. Lotus says, I'm so sorry. That's outrageous that you were bullied. It was horrible. And after that, I stopped live streaming for a little while, because I thought I'm not strong enough to handle the backlash. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to stop live streaming, because there's a lot of people that like my lives, and I don't know why. And some people that like me and like to come on them, and I enjoy them. But I'm not going to cover the Summer Wells case because of that, which I think is really sad, because as a creator, I should be able to cover the cases that are relevant and that I need to or want to. Also says, basically, someone posted a sex video of her online, a grown man did. Ugh, he's not a man. She got so bullied at the 2 different schools that she killed herself. Before she did, she posted a video asking for help. Oh, my God, that breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. That's just crazy. Or state things as absolute truth when there are no facts. Absolutely, absolutely. And, I come across channels on YouTube that just have that just let people come in and say any old theory, any old speculation they want, anything they want about anyone's case, even children. And I had to go into a live a couple of times and say, stop spreading false information about these cases. You're talking about children. It's inappropriate. What if the family came into the chat and was listening to some of it? That's what I think about. What if the family came into one of our chats and read and listened to some of the bullshit that's being said about the case? It's not on. So sad, bullying is serious. Yeah, it is. And I'm seeing it every day now on here on YouTube. Kaleidoscope, I'm sure your mods can nip any future bullies straight out of chat. Yep. If anyone's talking like being a dick or being disrespectful or rude, just kick them out. I just don't care. I don't care if people cry me a river. Cindy Sheriffs, hello, hun. Nice to see you. Pam says, I know of a boy who, when he was 10, he tried to do it over bullies. He's 13 now. 10 years old. No 10-year-old should be thinking that way. Yeah, social media, it can cause so much damage. It can really cause so much damage. But the good thing is it can do good things too, you know. It can help solve cases like we're seeing with Red, White and Bethune when they sing Gabby's Van. Lotus says, TJ, I just saw a live like that just recently. It was a Wild West show. Yeah, I know, and I don't like it at all. Kaleidoscope says, believe me, the family watches everything. I'm sure families do. And how mean and disrespectful and rude and cold is it to just say heaps of bullshit, make up heaps of bullshit, thinking it's true about cases, children's cases. Come on. Curious says, Kaleidoscope, I'm so ruthless. I delete my own comments. Don't worry. When I started the live today, because by the way, up at the top of the chat, there's the rules, and mods always do that. So if you need to repeat the rules to anyone, go ahead. But my last rule is just don't be a dick, really. I was bullied, but the internet was in its early days. I'm sure internet makes it so much worse. You can't go home to escape. I know some families and they have everyone they know sending them links. Oh, wow. So you're actually right. The families do watch this. Maybe not mine, but maybe big ones. Spreading bullshit and false information. And what can you do about that? I mean, I've had to walk away from YouTube a few times before I went absolutely ballistic. Fast Hemi said, I was bullied as a kid until one day when I was 17, I snapped. And there's someone at my door, guys. So please So, guys, give me 5 minutes. I've just got a guy here that is going to check my windows, which are behind me. So I'm going to turn the mute off and also the camera off just for Okay, guys, I'm back, and I've got a window guy that's fixing my windows in the background. So where were we? Fast Hemi said, I was bullied as a kid until one day when I was 17, I snapped. I beat up 3 guys at one time. Oh, fast. I was never bullied again. Funny thing about bullies is they're always in packs like wolves. It sucks that you had to beat up 3 people. I'm not really condoning violence. Anybody following the Daybell case? Yeah, yes, I'm watching what's going on, but that case is so messy. So many people. It's just a minefield to go through, if you know what I mean. Great rule, don't be a dick. Yeah, don't be a dick. High door person. I said to him, you're right being live, and like they'll see the back of you, and he's like, yeah, I'm okay, sweet. Just do what you want. Oh, TJ muted, that's not fun. No. Oh, he's coming back. I think he's going to get these latches that he's going to put on. Kaleidoscope says, I was going to buy a doormat that says, I watch enough true crime to know that unexpected visitors are sketchy. I like that. That's funny. You know, hi, Mark, welcome. I know several guys named Dick. Yeah, if someone came in and their name was Dick, then that would be a bit weird. I didn't really think of that, to be honest. Fast Hemi says, Kaleidoscope, that's a great job. You should also put, I know how to hide the bodies. Absolutely. So, as far as the Brian Laundrie case, there was an article that I wanted to go over. Now, it's from independent.co.uk, and I don't know what's playing, so I better find that. Pause. I said pause. Okay. So, Brian Laundrie update. Fugitives' digital footprint could shed light on Gabby Petito killing. Sarasota County Sheriff Kurt Hoffman suggested Friday that Brian Laundrie likely died by suicide in the Carlton Reserve. The sheriff made the comments during a police gathering in Florida. So there was this police gathering, and even when the cause of death has not been told to us by the autopsy yet or anything, or from the anthropologist, he's stating that he thinks Brian Laundrie likely took his own life. He's not waiting for the official cause of death. He says that guy went out there and by all accounts probably committed suicide, and he was right out there where we thought he was. Mr. Laundrie's skeletal remains were found along with his notebook and backpack on 20 October in a park connected to the Carlton Reserve. We know that's the Mayakahatchee park. The Sarasota County coroner matched the remains to Mr. Laundrie using dental records, and being unable to determine a time or cause of death, sent the bones for further analysis by an anthropologist. So we still know there is no manner of death and there is no cause of death yet. The anthropologist is going to take a wee while. After the anthropologist is finished with it, then it will go to another person who will extract pulp from the teeth and then hopefully get a positive DNA match for him. During the event, now this is the event with all these police officers, Northport Police Chief Todd Garrison explained himself for erroneously claiming he knew where Mr. Laundrie was located. He made the comments on 16th September press conference. In reality, Mr. Laundrie was likely already dead. He blamed the incident on his surveillance team mixing up Mr. Laundrie and his mother. Gabby Petito's family has been mostly quiet since the discovery. So her dad, Joseph, told a radio station that it was unlikely that any new info from Mr. Laundrie's journal would bring him closure or solace. I feel so sorry for the family. This is awful. You know, I wonder if the family are glad that he's dead, he did this to themselves, or would they have preferred to get justice in a courtroom by a judge sending this dickhead to prison, if that would have been justice? None of it matters because they're not going to get Gabby back. She's gone, and they're going to have to live with that for the rest of their lives. Their lives are never going to be the same again. So Stephen Bertolino, old Bert, the attorney for the Laundries, said that the results of a forensic anthropologist's examination of Brian Laundrie's remains are expected by the end of November. So that's quite a while away. And now my computer's going to shit itself a wee bit because that's what it does. Mr. Bertolino told Fox News that he believed the forensic anthropologist's examination will conclude within 2 to 3 weeks. They have set up the Gabby Petito Scholarship Fund, which will provide $1,000 to a senior graduate from Bayport Blue Point High School and Newfield High School who plans to pursue a future in visual or performing arts. So that's a really nice thing they're doing through the Gabby Petito Foundation. Now, this one's really interesting. How the media broke the news of Gabby Petito's body. And again, my computer's doing a shitstorm. Actually, this is what I wanted to show you. So at this police event with all these police, Todd Garrison praised his team for doing phenomenal work during the Gabby Petito investigation. He said, "I can tell you one thing, the amount of work that was done behind the scenes, 24 hours a day, from our team and the FBI was phenomenal." Listen to this bit, guys. That work led the search teams to locate Gabby Petito's deceased. So again, that work led the search teams to locate Gabby Petito deceased. It was not the police who found Gabby Petito. It was Red, White, and Bethune that found Gabby Petito. If it wasn't for Red, White, and Bethune catching the van on dash cam, they might have never found Gabby's body. So for this prick, Garrison, to say that it was his team's hard work, that's why they found Gabby, what a load of crap. Kaleidoscope says, "Can he fix mine when he's done? The guys here are taking a long time." Someone else wants you to fix the windows. Hey Pam, I have apple cinnamon and a salted caramel candle burning at the same time. Amazing together. Very relaxing. Good. Take care of yourself, darling. Kaleidoscope from Lotus, my cats speak the same language. I don't have any pets. I miss having pets. Kaleidoscope says, but I don't mind that it's the unexpected gruesome gifts pets bring home that I don't like. Yeah, like the flapping birds and the maces to pieces. Ugh. Pam says he also tried to make them think she was in Yosemite. Curious, and all the other bodies they found during that search. 7 other bodies they found while looking for Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, which is insane. The good thing, though, is hopefully those families will get some closure and know what happened to their loved ones. They've got bones back to bury. So I hope, some good things can come out of this tragedy, and that is a good thing. Rabbit head was traumatizing. Oh my God, a rabbit head. That's awful. I've never had a cat bring a rabbit head. Do you live in like the country or something, Kaleidoscope? Or was it someone's pet? Did they go and steal someone's pet? That's funny. So I haven't really got much to talk about unless there's anything that you guys want me to cover. I think I've covered most things. So if you want to hang around and just have a chat, or let me know. Pam said, yeah, he texted from her phone, no service in Yosemite to her mum. That's right. And we think that it was Brian that texted that. And also the Stan message. It was something like, can you please help Stan because I'm getting heaps of messages or emails from him or something like that. And then there was this big thing about, because Stan was her grandfather's name, and she never called her grandfather Stan. She always referred to him as grandpa or granddad or whatever you do. And because she said, can you help Stan, her mother knew something was wrong. Then the Stan, some people thought it meant send the authorities now. And there was a lot of people that ran with that theory. The fact they found so many bodies makes me wonder how many more are out there, right? Yes, I live in the country. Did you cover Blake Chappell? Oh, thank you, Curious. That's exactly what I wanted to cover. And I forgot. So just let me find out where I am. That's Curious. I would have forgot. So this is a case that I randomly found on Facebook, and I wanted to actually take a look at it. So this is 11alive.com. Teen killed after homecoming remains unsolved 10 years later. According to his friends and family, Blake Chappell was the kind of kid who was friends with everyone. We'll see if this video will load with my computer. You just don't know. Lotus, some people thought that Stan meant send the authorities now, but I doubt that what it was, and I doubt her mum would have known what that was. I think it was referring to her granddad. And it was Brian, and instead of calling him granddad, he called him Stan. That's what I think. Okay, the video is just having a moment. It's been 10 years since 17-year-old Blake Chappell vanished after the East Coweta High School homecoming dance, only to be found dead months later. The still unsolved case continues to baffle investigators. According to his friends and family, Chappell was the kind of kid who was friends with everyone. He was hilarious. He was one of the funniest people I knew, said Max Gibbs, his childhood friend. If you were down in a bad mood, he would make you laugh somehow. He was always just right there, Gibbs said. Melissa Becker, Blake's mum, also holds tight to the memories of her little boy. She said, he always looked at the best in people. He loved people. His friends were important to him. I don't think he ever had an enemy in his life. And that's a cute photo. Bear with me. I need a puff. And that, she said, is one of the many reasons she's baffled by the fact that someone would kill her son in cold blood. She said she remembers the night well of October 15, 2011. She sent her baby off to homecoming with a smile. They'd planned for Blake to spend the night at his friend Austin's house. After the dance, Blake called from Austin's as planned. He called and said, "Mum, I had so much fun. It was the best day of my life. I got to hang out with my friends and dance." She recalled the conversation. Heartbreaking. But what happened after that phone call is a mystery that's still haunting. Blake was seen walking to his girlfriend's house and not long after leaving to walk back to his friends, but he never made it. Around 11 a.m., the friend that he stayed the night with calls me and says Blake's missing, and I couldn't understand, she said. I'm like, what do you mean Blake's missing? He stayed the night at your house. Well, he went to his girlfriend's and he never came back. The search for him lasted 2 agonizing months. Mum said, "We didn't know where he was." Her voice was breaking as she, oh no, it must be Dad, voice breaking as he looked back on that day. We started calling him and nobody could get in touch. It seemed that Blake had simply vanished. It's like he just disappeared off the face of the earth, Becca said. Then in December 2011, 2 months after Becca reported her son missing, she got the call she was dreading. Her little boy had been found dead in a creek in East Newnan near the Summer Grove neighbourhood. He had been shot and left in his underwear. Becca said through tears, "It's indescribable. I mean, I relive that day every day. My world stopped that day. And I was just in such shock. I couldn't believe it. It couldn't possibly be him. I still had hope that he was going to walk down that driveway." Newnan police have held most of the case details under tight wraps. The department denied 11 Alive's request for the medical report and wouldn't confirm what, if any, forensic evidence was collected at the scene. As suspects are developed, a lot of details would only be known by those people, so we can't release too much, said Lieutenant Chris Robinson. Robinson did confirm that through the course of the investigation, it was clear that Blake's death was a homicide, but in the nearly 10 years since it happened, they've never made an arrest. He said, "Everything we've received has been run down and vetted, ruled out to this point," he said. "Without community support and people who know something coming forward, it just makes it near impossible to get anywhere right now." Blake's phone, wallet, and clothes were never found. Becca often wonders if he was kidnapped. Police said they can't confirm if he was killed the night he went missing or if his body was dumped in the creek later. Lieutenant Robinson said, "I don't know how long he was in that creek. From the time he went missing to the time he was found made the physical evidence a little more difficult." Becca said from the time her son first went missing, she'd asked police repeatedly to triangulate his phone. The last text Blake ever sent that night was to his girlfriend after he'd left her house, telling her an officer had just pulled him over to question him about where he was headed. She said, "I want to know if they ever triangulated his phone. I want to know if they truly looked at all the GPS on the police cars that could have made contact with him for that text." 11 Alive reporter Savannah Levins brought those questions to Newnan PD. Robinson said they have pulled some phone records, not necessarily triangulated, but we pulled some phone records. But the area's pretty broad on that. He also said they were never able to confirm whether any of the officers saw or stopped Blake that night. So they haven't looked into it enough to know whether one of the officers pulled him over or, pulled up to him and talked to him. But his last text to his girlfriend said that an officer was pulling him over. So it says, "We're still kind of hazy as to what that interaction was," said the lieutenant, "but it didn't appear that our agency had contact with them." Something doesn't sit right with me. "Somebody knows something," he said. "Come to us. We want the information. We want to solve this." Nearly a decade later, the plea for answers and justice continues. "I've had to come to terms with possibly never knowing who did this to him, and I've had to forgive this imaginary person," Becca said through tears. "I just want to know why. Just allow us to have some peace. He was just an innocent child. He did nothing wrong." There is a $20,000 reward for information leading to an arrest in Blake's case. Callers can leave tips for the Newnan Police on 770-254-2355, or you can go to Crime Stoppers of Greater Atlanta. We'll watch this little video and see what this, if it plays. If it plays.
A 17-year-old vanished after his homecoming dance, and he was found only in his underwear in a Cleo County creek months later, and his killer is still walking free. It's been nearly 10 years now since Blake Chappell's horrific and mysterious death, and it's still never been solved. Our Savannah Levins has been digging into this cold case and the search for the homecoming killer. Blake Chappell was the kind of kid who was friends with everyone, a huge heart, no enemies, and that's one of the many reasons his murder has remained a mystery.
He was one of the funniest people I knew.
Max Gibbs remembers his buddy Blake like it was yesterday.
You were down in a bad mood, he would make you laugh somehow.
And Melissa Becker. He always looked at the best in people. Holds on tight to the memory. He loved people. His friends were so very important to him. I don't think he ever had an enemy in his life. She also remembers the night of October 15th, 2011, sending her baby off to homecoming. And later that night, Blake calling from his friend's house where he was supposed to be sleeping over. He said, "Mom, I had so much fun. It was, the best day of my life. I got to hang out with my friends and dance." What happened after that phone call is a mystery that's still haunting. Blake seen walking to his girlfriend's house and not long after leaving to walk back to his friends. But he never made it. The friend that he stayed the night with calls me and says, "Blake's missing." I'm like, what do you mean Blake's missing? Well, he went to his old friends and he never came back. The search lasted 2 agonizing months.
He started calling him, and nobody could get into it.
It's like he just disappeared off the face of the earth. And then in December 2011, Melissa got the call. Her little boy had been found dead in a creek in East Noonan. He'd been shot and left in only his underwear. My world stopped that day. I couldn't believe it. I had hope that he was going to walk down that driveway.
Every time we received, we've been run down and bedded, rolled out at this point.
Lieutenant Chris Robinson with Noonan PD took over the case in 2019. By then, they'd interviewed dozens of people, followed every lead, but never could figure out who killed Blake or why.
Without any support, people to know something, come aboard, it's makes it not impossible to get anyone right now.
Blake's phone, wallet, and clothes disappeared. Police don't know if he was killed the night he went missing or if he was kidnapped and the killer dumped his body later. And they don't know who could have done this. But someone out there does.
Somebody knows something.
And so now, a decade later, the plea for answers, for justice, continues. He was just an innocent child. I just want to know why. There's a $20,000 reward for this case. You can leave a tip by calling Noonan PD at 770-254-2355 or Crime Stoppers of Atlanta, and you can remain anonymous.
How's that for damn sad? That's awful. I seen this on Facebook. Actually, there's quite a few cases that I see on Facebook that when I come on a live, I would like to cover one each time if I can. And they're just random ones around the world that are going on or have been cold for a long time. But, we've got to get some information out there at some point. So Pam said Brian was banking on her never being found. Absolutely. The Murdo case is interesting. It is interesting, and that's one I might cover. I was actually listening to a podcast about it last night, which was quite interesting. I can't remember. I think it might have even been Dateline that I was listening to. And Pam's left the building. Curious says, I hope they weren't blasé because they assumed he was a runaway like Courtney Struble. Law enforcement didn't do anything for 5 months. I read these statistics once about the proportion of missing people that go, or teenagers that go missing, how many actually are found and are just run away and come back. And it is a high proportion, but they seem to be, like you say, blasé about most cases. A lot of cases in true crime where there's someone missing, the family will say, but I went to the police and they said I had to wait. They said that she just ran away and that she'd come home. Hear it all the time. That is scary. I'm wondering if someone was using a ruse to get him. Well, you just don't know. One of the bits that pisses me off is they say that they haven't really looked into records of whether one of their team, one of their police officers actually did talk to him. His last text was to his girlfriend or saying a police officer is pulling up to talk to me. How old was he? Was it 17? I'm just having a quick look. 17-year-old. He was 17 when he went missing, and it was 10 years ago. Kaleidoscope says, one case I covered, the police ignored family for a year and a half and wouldn't allow them to file a missing person report. Oh, that's awful. I didn't know you had it. Do you have a channel, Kaleidoscope? Thanks for being here, Autumn. I appreciate it. I guess not, Curious, because if there was DNA, they certainly haven't said anything. He was found, shot naked. Did he have his underwear on? I think he said he had his underwear on. So I don't know what type of DNA they could have got from that, but it just didn't mention that at all. Loretta and Frank. Oh, I haven't heard of that. Oh, not anymore? Okay. Because I don't mind helping out small creators and putting up links of their channels. So that's, again, all the stories I have to talk about today. Thank you for being here. I'm still willing to chat if you want to chat about anything for a while. Any subject is fine. It doesn't have to be about true crime. Lotus, sorry my connection's wonky today. That's okay. You can't help the wonkiness of your connections, you know. So how about, could everyone put in the chat where they're from? I find it interesting to find out where people are from. I know people watch me from the US because that's why I come on at 11 a.m. in New Zealand. Lotus, yes, on the screen here at the bottom it says like and subscribe, tells you how you can donate to me and buy me a coffee, and that is my email, nzmissing@gmail.com, if you're talking to me. Curious is in a beautiful part of New Zealand, beautiful down in Te Anau. I don't get to go there as often as I would like to, that's for sure. Kaleidoscope Crime, I was a Canadian crime podcast. Wow. So I guess you're from Canada or you're in Canada. Is your podcast still available to be listened to? Let me know. We do have a podcast here at New Zealand Mysteries, but what I do is just upload. I'm trying to think of the word upload. I upload to my podcast server the audio of the videos that I do. I don't do a separate podcast because I feel like I'm spread really, really thin, like making the videos, keeping up with the Facebook channel, doing the live stream, and then, when I get a couple of shifts at work, because I've got to pay the rent, so I've still got to do that. I find that's enough. One of the things that bugs me is we do have a website on WordPress, and my original idea, I've actually spent a lot of months on it before I started coming onto YouTube. I did this, and I wanted it to be like a place where all the missing persons and unsolved murders in New Zealand go like a database on there, because we don't actually have one in New Zealand, and it's really hard to find missing persons cases or unsolved murders to cover them. I find it real hard, but I just don't actually have the time to do that. And I'd like to get onto that one day. Also, this, I'd like to upgrade it so we can have a proper website address rather than through WordPress, but those things will come. Kaleidoscope says from Canada. Do you know, when I was growing up, all the time I was growing up like a kid, and even actually into my teenage years, I'm ashamed of this, but I thought Canada and America were like the same place. I'm sorry. Lotus said it's 6:30 a.m. or p.m. What time is it there? 16 hours difference, isn't it? I don't know. It is 12:35 p.m. here. If you have seen a lot of my videos, I have done an interview with John Lorden, and I have done an interview with Anthony Greeno about Delphi. And the hard thing was setting up times to do those interviews because of the damn time zones. They pee me off. So in New Zealand, I usually start my lives about 11 a.m., which is hard because a lot of the Kiwis that would like to watch are at work. But if I did it any later, then people from the States and other places, it would be too late for them to watch it. So it's trying to strike like a balance, Kaleidoscope says it's still out there, but only 4 episodes. Let me know if you want me to shout it out. Lotus 12:34 Thursday. Is it Thursday? Yeah, it is Thursday. I did think about that for a minute. Kaleidoscope says I got a job in podcast stall. Yeah, life gets in the way. It surely does. Curious says, Kaleidoscope of Crime, did you cover Courtney Struble? She was Canadian. Lotus says, sounds like good news and bad news. Any interest in relaunching your pod? I know what you're talking though, Kaleidoscope. One of the things that holds me up is I have chronic fatigue. So after I've spent I did on Tuesday, I did a shift at work from 11:30 a.m. till 10 p.m. And then yesterday I was back at work at 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. I came home and went straight to sleep and woke up not long before I went live. And after this, I'm going to have to go back to sleep for quite a few hours because I'm just so tired. But it is what it is. Laugh out loud. I don't know why you're laughing at me, but most people laugh at me, so that's okay. I don't mind. I do some strange shit. Most clumsiest person I know. I do weird shit. I forget a lot of shit at work, which just... I'm glad that my team and my colleagues and my boss are really good. So yeah, I'll put all the links to all the articles, that's what they are, articles in the description box below. I'll also put how you can donate other ways if you want to, how you can become a member, and thank you so much, Curious Kiwi, for becoming a member. Oh, Oracles and Beyond, hey, hun, welcome. We've just covered a whole lot of cases, and now we're just chewing the fat, really, and just talking about not a lot. Pam, see you later, hun. Please look after yourself. We love you so much. Kaleidoscope says, no, I haven't covered Courtney Struble. I'll write that name down too, because does anyone know a little bit about Courtney Struble? What's her case? Courtney, I just wrote country Struble, because that's something that I haven't heard of either. Lotus says, I'm sorry about your chronic fatigue. I hope you have a restful nap later. I definitely will. I will have a good nap. I'll probably sleep right through till tomorrow, and then I will definitely have to get some housework done. Curious said, yes, went missing in 2004 from a small town in Canada. Well, I'll definitely look that case up, because that's one that I have not heard of or seen. So, if you guys ever come across cold cases on your travels on social media or Facebook or wherever, write the names down, or you can email me at nzmissing@gmail.com, and we can definitely take a look in them in one of our lives and go through the info. So I'm going to head off because my mouth mush. It's dry and I'm tired. I love all you guys so much. Thank you so much for all your support, whether you like, subscribe, or you donate, or you just participate and chat. It's amazing. It blows me away that people are interested in listening to me and they wait for me to come on to do these lives. You have no idea what that does for my self-esteem. It really means a lot to me. Curious says she was meant to walk home late at night, quite a wee way, but never made it. I'll definitely take a look at it before my next live. I've been trying to give you a few hours notice of a live if I could, but being a casual worker, it means that I can get called in for a shift at any time. So sometimes that's why I have to cancel lives, and I'm sorry about that, but it is what it is. Okay, my darlings. Bye, Lotus. Bye, Curious. Bye, Oracles. Will, if you're still there, bye, Will. Kaleidoscope, see you next time. Yours are all amazing. All amazing. Have a great day, great night, great afternoon.